Good morning, Speed Gaming. Do we have a day for you?
Do we have a day for them?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check the calendar. But yes, this is Army of One, joined today by Automata Habit.
Hi, everyone.
I think we have a pretty packed day. It's like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 really good matches, pretty much back to back. So, just as a quick overview of what we're going to see today, right now, this is Frydi versus Reseren, top bracket, match 1. These are great runners, and if you've been watching like the pre-race, you've seen them already pulling off some shenanigans. But
Yeah, as a fun note, Reseren one of only 2 runners left in the tournament who has not yet lost a match.
Yeah, that is that's something, because we've seen really close matches already. But Reseren's been just stomping around the bracket. Lenofus actually was one of the other ones until he went up against FPiz. But yeah, so right now, Frydi versus Reseren. Directly afterward is going to be C Scotty W versus Reed Theory right here on Speed Gaming 2. Over on Speed Gaming 4, Autumn will be commentating Ivan versus Hannibal Graham.
Games 1 and 2.
Back to back. Great games. And on Speed Gaming 5, starting at 3:30, is going to be Destructor versus Mini Johns, being the lower round 3 bracket, I believe. Yes, lower round 3. And we already have the start of the match.
And for anyone who did not see it, Reseren going on file A, which is Army's favorite file to use. Frydi, of course, using file B for boats, which is objectively also the best file.
Reseren a little sloppy, but both runners very quickly making up this first climb.
Yeah,
following pretty much the exact same path up the second one, too.
And these runners are both in the vanilla game also no slouches. Reseren in 11th% on the any percent leaderboard. Frydi not far behind in 17th. So we have 2 runners here that we are bringing you who both have exceptional execution in the game, as well as exceptional routing. And speaking of routing, let's see what our first item is going to be. We could have Morph Ball, Missiles, or Speed Booster. Army, what do you think we're going to get?
I'm going to go vanilla. Hey, what do you know?
And that like half a second you're ahead of me probably showed you the Missiles logo before you called that.
No. I called Missiles right before Frydi got to the data room, and then when the missile icon popped up at the top, it's like, hey, like I called that just in the nick of time on my end.
Our runners now will have to go down to the Arachnus area. 5 checks here, 4 items leading up to Arachnus and 1 on Arachnus itself. Reseren getting the nice wall kick on the way down. But Frydi the first to find diffusion missiles. One of these first 5 checks must be Morph Ball to get out. And if our runners find Morph Ball before they fight Arachnus, they also have the option to skip the Roly Boy himself.
So, since this is the first race of this best of 3 series between Frydi and Reseren, let's go ahead and go over the requirements for this randomizer. We probably have some people from Frydi and from Reseren that, might not be familiar exactly with randomizer.
So that or we just like to hear ourselves talk.
I mean, that's also, we don't have to tell that to them. That's sort of implied. So what are the main requirements, Autumn?
So the main goal of the game, we have to beat the game. To start the ending sequence, you need to spawn the SAX up on operations deck. That requires Charge Beam, Plasma Beam, Missiles, Opening Level 4 Security, and 1 of Space Jump or High Jump. As our runners making quick work of Arachnus. Not to get away from the level 4 lock mentions, though, our runners will need Morph Ball, 1 of Bombs or Screw Attack, Speed Booster, technically optional if our runners want to do some crazy clips today, and the gravity suit.
I guess they wouldn't even have to have speed booster if they do something, some real crazy stuff, huh?
Yeah. Speed booster largely considered required, but there is an ice clip that you can do in Sector 4 that gets you out of the game without it, although we are speedrunners, so we do like to go fast. And our runners finding a energy tank on Arachnus, the seed doing its best Legend of Zelda impersonation, at least to this point. And we will see our runners making their way over toward the main elevator to go down to the sectors.
Reseren picked that third E-Tank. That third E-Tank is kind of special because that sort of marks dropping into the lava moat in Sector 1 and being able to grab the item and leave with a little bit more than 0 health.
Yeah, it can be done with 2 energy tanks, but 3 definitely makes it a lot safer. And speaking of Sector 1, our runners have the choice to go to Sector 1 or 2. Looks like Reseren choosing Sector 1. Do you think we're going to get a divergence? Do you think Frydi goes to Sector 2 or Sector 1?
I think the smart play is Sector 2. With diffusion missiles, that does give access to ice, and that does put the Kago into logic. And here we go, Friday heading to Sector 2. Sector 2 will also give you the level 1 doors. Level 1 doors in Sector 2. I love this game's convention sometimes. And you will have to go through these level 1 doors. There's no way around it. At least not that I'm aware. Frydi coming up on the Kago.
Only an energy tank today. Now, one thing we'll note on Reseren's side, having diffusion missiles makes his missiles do 15 damage rather than 10. The stabilizers normally take 3 missiles to kill, with diffusion only taking 2. The one reason I would go Sector 1 over Sector 2 here is honestly a coin flip of which one I pick. Is that without bombs and without speed booster, you have to go all the way around this Sector 2 lobby to get up to the Sector 1 or level 1 security doors. So as far as that goes, you can get through a little bit more quickly if you have some other items. Missile tank as the first item in lava dive. I don't think Reseren jumped far enough over to see what's on the far end of the lava. Hesitating for just a second and deciding to pick up the missiles.
You usually have to do a pretty full jump, maybe some jump extends, in order to see that. And I did not catch that item up in the top left lava moat, did you?
I did not. However, I am willing to bet that someone in chat did, because chat is always better at seeing things than the commentators. Meanwhile, Frydi is going to give us a check of the Sector 2 data room.
Of course, that's if the stream likes to load.
It'll be very funny if it's Ice Beam or Ice Missiles in there.
And unfortunately, we did not see what was in the Sector 2 data room. Luckily, Reseren will be moving through there. That's a very, very common check to hit up. It's sitting there on the table.
Just and Reseren getting trolled with one of the missiles on the stabilizer, having to shoot a third. Dropping down before remembering, wait, this isn't vanilla. Need to check what the crab has, and the crab just having missiles. A lot of times our runners will pick up anywhere between 40 to 50 missiles to be ready in case they need to do a boss rush, because bosses can have items. Chat pointing out that Frydi has one more energy tank than we saw before the freeze, so probably an E-tank in the Sector 2 data room. And Link Force, one of our great trackers today, confirming that we had an E-tank in the data room. And at this point, I would like to give a shout out to both Link Force Zero and the great Pikmin ZX789 for doing our tracking today, leaving Army and I more free to just spout nonsense at you the entire time we're here.
It's what you're here for. Frydi breaking his way into Sector 1, and Reseren just about to leave. Fighting the charge core. You think this is randomized? Yeah, it's just an E-tank.
Yeah, just, playing the Legend of Zelda Metroid Fusion Edition today. getting our E-Tank on our first two bosses. Hercules bench press in chat saying that he would go to Sector 3 before Sector 1, and I would actually, with this loadout, go to Sector 4 before Sector 1.
Yeah, diffusion missiles. Oh. Is this randomized?
French Vanilla Seed today with a charge beam over at the crab party.
The crab rave.
And Frydi giving us a check of the shaft behind the save room. Only an energy tank up there.
So with diffusion missiles, you can freeze the power amp and get into what I'm starting to call early 4. It's not really upper or lower Sector 4 at that point, but you can get a really, really high density, high percentage check for majors early in Sector 4.
You know, maybe we could just start considering it to be the deep end of the pool, because it's not in lower 4. It's still up in the top, but it's the deepest part of the top. Please don't catch that name on. That name is real dumb.
No, but it's the kiddie pool. It's the shallow end. Yeah, sure, you might be over your head, but it's certainly not the deepest part of Sector 4. And Reseren...
Yeah, and I do agree with chat that the lava moat is often a major. I just also find that the diffusion lock check in 4 also a major, and that sector is right next to Sector 2. That's kind of where I route that there. That said, our runners here making quick work of Sector 1, Frydi going through the bottom. We know not much to find here aside from charge.
Ooh, Frydi trolled by that stabilizer. That was, what, 3 tanks? That's unfortunate. A little frustrating. Reseren heading to Sector 2. So we'll finally get to see that E-Tank on the Sector 2 data room. But we'll, after that, we'll see where Reseren goes, because we're sort of out of progression at the moment. Sector 1 didn't have progression. Sector 2 didn't have progression.
So the question is, do we have Sector 3 across the lava moat? Or do we have Sector 4 under the diffusion check? Which one? Where do you think we're going to find it, Army? Do you think 3 or 4?
It feels more like 4 just because it requires an item to get there. But it really could be either. It's a toss-up.
Well, maybe we'll get a quick race preview with your check coming up at odds with your next opponent, Hercules bench press, and we'll see who's got the call.
So the next progression could be speed. It could be more ball bombs. We might be seeing Sector 2 or Sector 4.
Or if we want some real drama, we could see Screw Attack.
Yeah, things can get real messy if Screw Attack's in the mix.
We know our runners do love going on an adventure with it.
Yeah, we've seen more than a few runners get lost in the checks just with everything that's open to them.
Frydi making a heads-up play with the diffusion missiles, but just going one tile too short to open up the door to the crab rave. I honestly wasn't sure if that was going to work. I was hoping to steal that strat, but I guess it doesn't entirely work. Unless that might be an expositioning thing, where if you get just the right exposition, it goes high enough to open up that missile lock. I will put that down as one of my strats to try to lap out.
Reseren making his way out of Sector 2, Frydi heading out of Sector 1. This is where we're going to start seeing a little bit of divergence, I think. Just because it's such an even chance, 3 or 4, and Reseren deciding against going all the way to 3 and just checking Sector 4.
If I'm these runners, I go to Sector 4 as Reseren, I go to Sector 3 if I'm Frydi. The reason being, whenever it's a 50-50, I try to go to the closer check. No sense in running back and forth across the main elevator lobby if you can just go to the sector next door and have just as good a chance of finding your progression there.
Kirk making a good point that speed opens things, but more in the mid game. Bombs really open up everything in the early game. Bombs opens up 2 and 4, while speed really opens up like yellow doors or green doors, which would
Right,
open
well,
up. We get a major.
we can't actually get green doors without bombs, which Reseren has just found. Bombs, odds are, will get Reseren to go deeper into... Might not go deeper into Sector 4, because without any high jump, or without any sort of jump or speed, the only way out is to use a diffusion freeze on a rather trolly crab. We'll have to see what play he decides to make. Frydi giving us the lava moat check, and
It's
as
also
chat
a
predicted,
major.
having a major there, Plasma Beam. Not
So-
opening anything up aside from putting Ridley on the menu if we get a lot of help, but definitely a nice bit of damage output and required for go.
Yeah, so as of right now, Reseren is reading the seed a little better than Frydi. Reseren will eventually be going to Sector 3 in order to open up those doors, but unfortunately Frydi has to leave and go to the Sector 4 to pick up the bombs. Reseren heading deeper into 4. So, do you think these runners might see Saris?
I think that's definitely an option. I would say more for Reseren, and the reason I say that for... As with Saris, they do need to underwater wall jump to get out with their current equipment, since they don't have speed or gravity. But the thing is, Frydi picking up Plasma, giving higher damage output, will actually make Saris take more hits. When you have Plasma Beam, that makes your beam start doing damage per frame.
And here's the speed booster in Sector 4.
With Speed Booster, I think we're going to see some Sea Serpent on the menu here. But Reseren will be able to take Saris out in 2 shots. Frydi will take 3 or 4. But it looks like Sector 4, definitely the play. Especially because with Reseren having Speed Booster and Bombs, it is almost certain that his next move will be to go to Sector 3 after this to open up level 2 locks. So very likely to find his Plasma Beam there with little trouble.
Reseren also elected to not go up to the check underneath Saris, so it's very likely that he'll loop around, do the Sector 4 loop, and see the item there without being able to grab it, but most of the time it's not a major, so most of the time you'd be wasting time to go get it. And Reseren lowers the water level in pump control.
And just power bombs at the Pumpkin Spice Troll today.
Nice little bomb jump over the piece of trash. That's not going to get picked up today.
Yeah, you do not want to spend 2 or 3 seconds to pick up a power bomb tank unless it is something that you have an actual use for, and very rare in the randomizer that you will have a use for power bombs. Our runners will be hoping just not to find power bomb data today in general. If they do, they can use power bombs to clear blocks out of some rooms pretty more quickly, but you start with 10 power bombs, you don't go through that many. I have had a couple of times where I picked up a power bomb tank to give myself more ammunition, though. Reseren definitely going to give us a Saris check.
Now, it should be noted that Saris technically isn't in logic right now. There's no high jump, no gravity, so this check is technically out of logic. We might not be seeing any profit right here.
Did not realize this was out of logic. I guess technically you do have to do a couple of underwater wall jumps. It only takes 2 to get into it, so some underwater wall jumps that won't kill your thumbs. But let's see what Saris has in store for our runners today. I'm gonna say a power bomb tank. What do you think, chat? Are we gonna find anything worthwhile on Saris today? And Saris giving the zigzag pattern, which allows Reseren to know where it will come down.
Yeah, we didn't see a lot of shenanigans out of Saris today for Reseren. That's very, very fortunate for him. Saris
Missing
can
the sweet spot ever so slightly, and wide beam on Saris. And now Reseren has the ability to kill Saris in one hit. Oh, wait. Guess it's a little late for that.
But Wide Beam is a very nice damage upgrade, a very nice quality of life upgrade. This will, if we do see a Wave Beam to get down into Ridley, this will definitely help everything after Wave Beam, because Wave Beam is kind of terrible.
And Frydi making the same play to Saris. Saris paying off today. Wide Beam is the only major item in this randomizer that does not open up any checks, and it looks like Reseren finding a major in the waterway. Just the Varia suit down there. With that in level 2s, we might start seeing Sector 6 on the menu. We might see some plays in Sector 5 on the menu. And all damage runs are off the table aside from potential lava checks in Sector 3, although we've already seen most of our lava checks anyway. Frydi getting a little trolled by the underwater wall jumps.
I've been there. It's painful. Just not getting the height that you need.
And it can be hard to tell when you've gotten the height that you need. A lot of times what I do is I just go for the 2 wall jumps and then I trust that I've got it and hold right, and usually that rewards me. And Frydi making the pull up to get up there.
And it was just a missile tank underneath Saris, so...
And Reseren going right back down into Sector 4, realizing that did not check the item behind the Super Missile Giron in the Tickle Water. With the water having been removed, a fun way of getting this check is you can just run into the room and run right past it before the Giron has time to spawn.
Just about.
And just some trash down there. Reseren is saving. And we have Saris on screen for Frydi right now. Unfortunately, will take more than 2 shots. Actually, with Plasma Beam, it might be most effective to use a pseudo screw attack on Saris. I believe that is 27 damage, so that would be a 2-hit kill. Although, runners just starting to develop the pseudo screw attack strats against bosses, because with some of the higher beams, you end up getting a lot more damage output. For example, if you find Wave Beam or Ice Beam, your pseudo screw does 48 damage with that.
Reseren heading into Sector 3, going to unlock his green doors, going to find his Plasma Beam as well. Yeah, here's the Plasma track.
So both of our runners increasing the power of their weaponry. Reseren now having enough beams to also be able to stun lock the Omega Metroid. Although we're getting a little ahead of ourselves there. Going to see level 2 locks, and then probably going to get a little bit of a circuit of Sector 3. And now it's Reseren's time to be a little bit frozen here. We will watch Frydi going back through Sector 4. I do not believe that he had checked the Pumpkin Spice Troll. We know that there's nothing of value there.
But there is some value underneath the water.
There is indeed value under the water.
It was a Varia suit in the speed check in mid-4, wasn't it?
It was Varia suit. Not really required for anything, but definitely nice to have.
Yeah, it certainly makes Sector 6 a lot more doable. Those Winter Fresh Blue X. Ooh, that was a slick little jump from Frydi. Spinning over the Power Bomb expansion that no one wants to pick up. You never want to pick those up, but certainly much faster than waiting for a bomb jump.
Frydi showing us why he is one of the best in the game. He is, in fact, our number 2 seed in the tournament, Reseren the number 7 seed, so we have quite a powerful matchup. And Frydi pulling in the Shine Spark charge, but getting trolled by the hitbox to not pick up Varia on the way over. Opting to go a little bit faster. Reseren going down. Let's see what he finds in the couch cushions here. Just some trash in the couch cushions. Really need to clean up better after yourselves, ouches. And getting ready for a Nova Stairs check. And Reseren realizing, don't have high jump, can't get up there just from freezing the Nova. But with Plasma Beam, easy to build up a speed charge here to go check that item.
Reseren not getting this. Oh, just leaving the Nova Stairs behind? I'm not sure that I agree with that. Usually, if you have ice, you can. I mean, ooh.
Speaking of ice,
Ice beam.
we have a cool Bob today. Ice Beam at Bob, which would make the Nova Stairs much easier to check. Also, diffusion missiles can get a little bit trolly with trying to hit the Novas without accidentally killing one of them or killing the platform that you jump off of. Frydi also making the play to Sector 3, so hot on Reseren's tails. And we'll see if Frydi gives us a Nova Stairs check before Reseren. Just some energy under box. Reseren already with 7 energy tanks. Can't imagine we will see him pick up any more E unless it is directly on his way. And get your cat gems in the chat. Reseren keeping keeping box as far as possible to the right. That way, it will take less time for box to go off screen. Unfortunately, getting knocked out of that pattern.
How much does the pseudo screw for ice cream?
48 damage.
That's a lot of damage.
That is, in fact, a lot of damage.
Looks like that box needs some flex tape.
And it is time for box to go back into storage.
Reseren hiding the secrets of the Sector 3 data room behind bad internet connection.
Our internet today just does not want us to see what's going on in data rooms. Can't say I appreciate it.
And I believe it was just a missile tank. It seems that Reseren has 5 more missiles than previously.
Frydi, you can't jump up there without your high jump.
You need high jump for that, buddy. But let's see if Frydi will go for the speed storage. Or if he's just going to...
No.
Okay.
Both of our runners abandoning the Nova Stairs.
I usually feel Nova Stairs is a pretty high percentage check.
Especially when a check what the first item is, even if you don't feel like putting in the effort to go get the far item. However, get your cat jams on deck. And Reseren making his way out of Sector 3. What checks were above box? Hopefully we'll find out soon. Dark Art, that was actually Ice Beam at Bob. And as our bot has said in chat, definitely go give our runners a follow here. They're both putting on quite a show. And are some of the best in the game. And let's get some more Cat Jam with Frydi bringing box back out of storage.
I may or may not have been checking to see if Reseren had the... There's a little bit of a new SpeedGaming policy. Because we've been having a little bit of these restreaming freezing issues, SpeedGaming has asked the runners to stream in 720p or at least have a 720p option. Reseren decided to go into Sector 2.
Yeah, it's very strong play, having bombs and not been able to check much of Sector 2. Going down, it will be a bit frustrating to get back out. With only Ice Beam, you have to get some good RNG from the Zoros. However, good to check, only giving us the top Ripper Tower check. Interesting that Reseren would reset out of there, knowing that it's difficult to get out, but would reset out without checking the bottom check in that room. Always nice to check Ripper Tower when you can before you get High Jump, because High Jump will lock that check until you get Space Jump and Plasma.
and seeing the bomb checks in the upper sector too.
Just some
I'm
more
not
missiles here.
I'm not really feeling 2 for this seed. This seed feels more like a 6.
So what you're saying, Army, is that everything we need is going to be in lower 2 despite you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because there's nothing in upper 2, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, I mean, all we need at this point is gravity and a jump. And very possible to find either of those items down here.
Frydi deciding to head back into lower 2? No, building up a speed charge so that they can get behind where Plasma was.
Chat calling for high jump boots in space.
Oh, ouch.
Anytime you have a Shine Spark stored and you get hit with any damage source, it will knock you out of your charge. Frydi getting a little bit trolled. And Reseren committing to the lower sector 2 play. That might be why he reset out to go and check the left items a little bit better. Without high jump, you cannot go back up the left side, as I learned in a race yesterday without some incredibly precise bomb jumps. Frydi checking behind the lava moat, just some trash back there.
You can freeze those Puyos and get over, which is obviously the intended way to get that, and not at all a waste of time. But just a piece of trash in the Oasis? Anyway, here's Wonderwall. Bye, Wonderwall.
We had plenty of energy, but just couldn't get ourselves to fully check the Wonderwall. Chat is now calling for a vanilla space jump, and all I can say is that means we will not see space jump. Unless gravity is on readily.
So, I have a little bit of a story. A little bit of story about Lower Sector 2. Last night with the race that I believe it was the race that you soft locked or died or something happened. But we had Space Jump right above Zazabi, who had vanilla high jump.
Yeah, the seed that I was playing, and I took a soft lock. I went into the Sector 5 data room, thinking I would bomb jump myself on my way out, as Jagger G has shown off a number of times. Didn't have high jump.
But both of the jump upgrades were...
And Frydi giving us the upper checks of Sector 6.
So Frydi,
definitely high percentage checks.
My recommendation, I don't know how much I would recommend that. Just some missiles in upper 6 for now, but with Varia and speed, there are 2 more checks that you can grab before running out of things to do.
Yeah, they are a bit out of the way, but all of these checks do have a fairly decent chance of being majors. Usually it's very front-loaded in the first 2.
Now, if you are
also, Reseren could be soft-locked here. Reseren is soft-locked. Not having a jump to get out of Zazabi, but that was a very intentional death warp here. Unfortunately, this means we're still not seeing the bottom check of Ripper Tower. You know, the troll in me is hoping that the bottom check of Ripper Tower is Gravity Suit.
Well, that would certainly postpone and prolong the ending of this race. Frydi deciding not to do the speed check, too far away, too much out of the way. Now, you don't need high jump to actually do the clip into Sector 6 without power bombs, but you need to be really good at clipping. If you accidentally morph without high jump, you're kind of stuck in a wall. So Frydi is just going to leave.
The thing is, you can do the clip and get to lower Sector 6. You also know that that is not in logic, and when you're only looking for 2 items, I'm not sure that you want to start taking a large chunk of the game that is not in logic for your progression. FP's throwing a little bit of shade in chat here. Looks like we know someone who's not part of the fleet.
So we're going to see an animals check. Now, whether or not we see the animals themselves, we're just going to see what they're hiding from us. We're going to find out the animal's secret.
I can't imagine that we're going to actually see animals from Frydi here, especially knowing that he is up against Reseren. You don't want to leave any time on the table against an opponent of that caliber here.
Right side animals, just a powerbomb expansion. Reseren heading into 6 as well. Let's
Now,
see if...
Reseren, I would think, is more likely to clip into lower 6, so we might get that check here.
I mean, at the very least, I would think Reseren's more likely to actually check the speed check in mid 6.
Yeah.
Whether or not Res clips is a different story.
I mean, Rez has shown off a number of videos of clips. He also is a well-known tasser in the community, so if there's anyone in the tournament, he is definitely one of the most likely runners here to put a lot of clips on display.
Just a power bomb. Ooh,
Thinking about it, and no clip
he was
today.
thinking about it.
Oh, and Herc calling out the thing that I always forget about clips. No high jump is no clip.
No, so you can do a horizontal clip without high jump. You don't need high jump. It's only if you accidentally morph and stay morphed, then you're just stuck. But you can do the unmorph cancel into a jump and just sort of slide all the way to the crumble blocks. And if you do that without staying in morph ball, you're fine. It's trickier and certainly less less consistent than just having high jump.
Frydi showing off the problem of having a almost full beam here, trying to freeze the pancake to get up to the first half of the speed trap, and hitting it with more than one of the shots, killing it instantly. But Frydi giving us a dive into Sector 5. Not the most appealing play when you don't have power bombs, but at this point, there's not a lot left on the table for our runners to find in Logic.
Which may or may not be a reason to clip and find more items in lower 6. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
And
unfortunately, neither of our runners are going to try that.
And I have to agree with chat here. I would say at this point, Frydi is in a slight lead, just because we're getting more checks that aren't following some checks. But this is still anyone's race here. Not a huge separation at all.
Both runners did abandon the Nova Stairs in lower 3. We also do have your favorite scientist, Frank, holding onto an item that...
Stop trying to call Gary Frank. Arcane, this is not an elimination match. We are in winner's bracket, and this is game 1 of a best of 3 series. In winner's round, is it 3 or 4?
Winner's 4, I think.
This is winner's 4.
4. Winner's 4.
I get thrown off by the preliminary round that we had that was a round 1 with not many matches.
Right. I like to start my indexing at 0. So in my heart, this is round 3. Not to mention that, we've got a major. We've got
power bombs. You know, if you're gonna find it anywhere, finding it while you're already checking Sector 5, probably pretty nice because that opens up a number of checks. Also, we saw Reseren also skip out on the speed trap at the top of Sector 5. And
that was a little cheeky jump right there.
Yeah. Frydi getting trolled and trying to save it, not quite able to save it. Using diffusion missiles, a heads-up play there. Otherwise, you have to make sure to hit with only one bolt from the ice beam. Just an energy tank in the ceiling. We will not see Frydi pick that up. Reseren about to get the level 3 security locks here. Interesting how our runners are making such similar plays right now. And it'll be interesting to see where they diverge again.
Power bombs.
Yeah.
While they're good in Sector 5, it's real tough if there's a Sector 3 item that both of the runners will need.
This check here, definitely less pleasant without high jump. To get the Rippers in some more specific locations, we have a major that was power bomb locked and ice missiles. Very cool, Sector 5. Very cool.
Yes, it is, because it's all frozen. Frydi making his way out of lower 5.
Now, one thing I'll say with power bombs is that may make the Sector 3 play a little more appealing to go back, as there are 2 power bomb lock checks that our runners could make that might take them back to the lower, or to the Nova Stairs. Actually, I correct myself, 3 power bomb lock checks. Power bombs also unlock lower Sector 6, which could be very nice. I'm just thinking the proximity. Sector 3 is right next to Sector 5. I think I dip that first if I get power bombs in Sector 5 and nothing else of value. Of course, we could just have our gravity at Ripper Road as well. Let's see if I can give a commentator's blessing today.
And
no blessings here.
Curse, just an E-Tank.
Now, commentator's curse would say that Nova Stairs is going to give us our space jump, and lower Sector 6 will give us our wave beam and screw attack. And gravity on Ridley.
Frydi not quite getting, in fact, leaving the Sector 5 data room behind. You can get a check there, but you'll have to go all the way around Sector 5 again just to get back out.
Yeah, might be going for the other checks, finding a major here, and I can't believe it's not Sector 6. And we have screw attack. Frydi might be getting ready to go to an adventure. This is telling me that or Sector 6 is where our progression most likely is.
Hey, you know what I was saying earlier about maybe going to someplace earlier than expected or intended?
Frydi leaving Sector 5 without checking the speed trap, without checking the data room. I'm not sure I understand this play.
And
Frydi is thinking Sector 6 and didn't want to go through the connector?
That's what it's looking like. Either that or Frydi has seen an item that we missed. He could have seen a major.
He does. He is very known for using power bombs to check using diffusion to check the power bomb locked item.
Yeah, Frydi is a man on a mission, going straight to a check that we don't know what it is. But if
Frydi is going this far out of his way to go make this check, it's a major. There's no chance this is not a major.
Okay.
And super missiles. Oh, Frydi, I'm so sorry for you.
Reseren trying to decide whether or not to go into the data room.
I'm not sure if Reseren checked that or not.
Oh, and unfortunately, Reseren won't be able to save here. There's a wave gate in the way. At least this is close to Sector 6.
Yeah, although, have to wonder how Frydi's feeling. Well, no, Frydi will be able to backdoor in from Sector 6 to make those couple of upper Sector 5 checks, so we might see Frydi save at the top of Sector 6 to be able to make those plays. Yeah.
Reseren picked his screw attack and will very, very likely just break into Sector 6 right here. And
Frydi changing his mind, opting to go to Sector 6. Have to wonder if he was thinking of going back to 5 and then realized, wait, I can get into 5 through Sector 6.
Oh no, I think... Well, let's see if Rez goes up to... Yep, Rez must have also checked. You know what? I'm just going to stop talking until Reseren actually does something. No, okay, Reseren's going to break into Sector 6.
We had a fake sync there for a second, going through the lobbies of Sector 5 and 6. Looked like our runners were in the same place when they are, in fact, not.
Yeah, I'm actually just going to stop talking.
Reseren has to go the long way around. Without high jump, you can't jump up there, so we'll have to go through the missile block. Reseren is going to give us my favorite 2 checks in the game, up in the Sector 5 speed trap.
even better, if you don't have screw attack, you can wall jump off the wall and make it up there without high jump. But with screw attack, it changes your jump arc, and you can't.
Really?
Yep. It's a pretty tight wall jump, but
Fortunately, those ice missiles helping make this freeze a little bit easier, and only able to get one check up there also. As
unfortunately,
we don't have the conditions met to break Sector 5. To break Sector 5, you need to have high jump, speed, wave, and level 3s.
And Frydi is now leaving the pillar room.
And I missed what Frydi found over at Loser Highway.
It was just a missile. He just happened to he got the powerbomb swag and just boosted straight in. Frydi is now going down into Sector 6. Now with power bombs, he doesn't have to worry about clipping.
Yeah, probably a little more efficient to go this way as well. Get to check the wine cellar first, and needing 2 items, we'll still see the progression. And a lot of these checks in lower Sector 6, the wine cellar, the ceiling after the mega core, and the spiky beach ball itself, all seem to be very high percentage for items. Frydi using a power bomb to make a quicker check of the item in the wine cellar, and just some power bombs up there. Not our finest vintage today. And Reseren going to give us our Sector 5 data room check.
So I've been spoiled a little bit because this is Gravity.
Oh, so it is. And with Gravity, Reseren taking a lead, also breaking Sector 5 open. This will open up another check at the top of 5, as well as the ability to go into Nightmare's area. We may be seeing Reseren just go open level 4 locks and hoping that a jump upgrade is on the way.
Yeah, unfortunate for Frydi, electing to leave behind the Sector 5 data room.
And just a missile tank on the Mega Core. The best thing that Frydi could possibly find in lower Sector 6 for his chances would be if he finds a space jump.
Yeah, we still just need a jump item. It's just sort of missing here.
Always love when it's a jump item for Go mode, because that is the least common one. And Frydi, seeing nothing of value in lower Sector 6, take that past army, and deciding to just reset out of there.
Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. But I like to think I'm always spicy.
Now, I think we might actually see Frydi give us a check back of Sector 5. And the reason I'm thinking we might see that is just he knows he left some checks behind to go rush that super missile check. And no, I am very wrong.
He's taking his power bombs and he's going to check main deck. There's a couple power bomb checks that will also lead into the Yakuza area and the reactor silo. So
chat did call for vanilla space jump earlier.
I've seen it before. It's not nice, but I've seen it before. But
can space jump itself be on Ridley?
It could.
Both of these runners do have the skill to get out of Ridley without space. I don't think it's a first check, but I think it's a spicy check. What if high jump and space jump are both down there?
Reseren checking Nightmare's area. Power bombs let you get into 3 checks, I believe. I mean, there is a really, really tight single bomb that you can place, but usually it's kind of iffy.
Yeah, the hitbox on bombs only extends about a pixel over the top of where the sprite is on screen. So, very precise to get something near the ceiling there. Just some missiles in the ceiling. Is Reseren going to give us everyone's favorite Mecha TV Slime Cat Girl itself? I think we're going to get that check.
We're going to get above Nightmare at the very least, but I would be very surprised if Reseren decides to actually fight Nightmare.
Picking up the missiles, a heads-up play. Meanwhile, Frydi finding Wave Beam, one step closer to Ridley. Is Frydi going to give us Yakuza, or is Frydi going to turn back knowing unless it's vanilla space that he is soft-locked? Frydi taking the safe play here. Getting trolled by the jump arc of the screw attack.
Well, I usually don't expect to see Nightmare on screen, but I guess here we are.
Nightmare and I are not friends right now. I just lost an any percent run that was very much on PB pace to Nightmare yesterday. Frydi showing off the jump extends to get across the reactor, but not quite getting the whole way. See how many tries he gives this before he opts to go for speed booster strats. Oh, so close. Without high jump, you need a lot of jump extents to get over there. Very possible, though.
And without high jump, with screw attack, I should say, just single wall screw attack up higher, you should be able to get it easily.
Can't jump up to that ledge to do the single wall jumps. And Frydi getting the jump extends. Backdooring into Sector 2. Now, one check we didn't get from Reseren earlier because we didn't have the necessary item. We could get the Zazabi Speedway.
Yeah, we had both runners check lower Sector 2, and there was just nothing there. But we could see some items in overgrown Sector 2 that we haven't seen before, above Notori and in the Puyo Palace.
Or even the lower check of Ripper Tower, as we saw Reseren reset out of there yesterday without checking it. It would make my day to see something of value in the Puyo Palace. The only majors we have left to find that we don't know where they are our 2 jump items.
But Reseren heading straight to his level 4 locks. That's the play that I would certainly make if you're able to unlock level 4s, especially on the settings that we have for the tournament, where we don't have any split security levels. Although
also
Reseren already does have yellows unlocked, and we had to unlock yellows to get gravity.
Also, it's not uncommon that you find a go mode item on the way to your level 4 security locks or very near them. And Reseren in the worst room of the game, and the reach stream deciding it doesn't even want to have to put up with worst room. And let's get a Notori check. Frydi with plenty of ammunition and with full missiles can just spam missiles at Notori and take it out. Not quite far enough to the right at first to stop these spores from spawning. Unintended joke there. Opting to go for plasma strats. And with how large the hitbox is for Notori, we definitely will get far more damage with Plasma Beam.
So you can't actually damage Notori with the screw attack, but you can use screw attack to just get in the hitbox and just spam our shooting all you want.
And Reseren giving us a crab battle check. Just missiles at the crab battle. The crabs were looking to escalate their war.
It's a little unfortunate that Friday's stream is paused here, but we're about to see when it refreshes. Come on, restream, please. Notori had space jump.
Did Notori really?
Yeah, Notori had space jump.
Oh, this is a race then.
So
I wonder where high jump is, because that is something that Reseren will probably find more quickly. And both of our runners are frozen. We need the suspense here.
Well, I have both streams open up myself, so I'll just commentate over the stream that I'm seeing. Reseren, heading up through lower sector 4, is about to leave. Frydi fighting Zazabi.
Yeah.
Reseren's stream has finally decided to catch up.
Yeah, especially with the stream delay here. And chat, Screw Attack does not damage the Mega Core. It just allows you to get right in the hitbox so that you can hit with all parts of a charge beam.
Frydi finishing up Zazabi and checking Zazabi's speed. Unfortunately, nothing there for him.
Now keep in mind, Army, when you're looking at Frydi's stream, there's not the stream delay, so that is out of sync with what we're showing for Reseren.
There's Zazabi, and there's finishing up Zazabi.
Not as much of a speed up as expected, but Frydi having space jump makes this a very interesting race. And Kazuto trolling Frydi, hoping that he also finds high jump in lower sector 2. Have to imagine the next checks we'll get will be Ripper Tower and then up into Crumble City. Reseren gonna check the Sector 4 data room. And just some trash. We wasted our bandwidth for those power bombs?
Frydi heading out of Sector 2. There's a couple more checks that Frydi can make up above Notori, but deciding not to? Deciding to check the rest of lower Sector 2.
Yeah, I mean, while you're down here, you definitely want to give a look, see if Wonderwall is holding your gravity suit. We know that it is not.
But Frydi doesn't know that yet. And now he does.
And let's see where Reseren decides to go next. Running past Sector 2, so we know he is not on his way to... We're going to see Reseren go up to check the maintenance duct and reactor core. And might backdoor from there into lower Sector 2 to fight Notori.
So Reseren cannot complete the game because he does not have a jump upgrade. You need at least high jump or space jump in order to trigger the SAX fight.
Although I believe that is going to be changing in a future version of the randomizer.
That's correct. Kazuto, you're in chat. Is it that you'll be adding either Screw Attack or, Speed Boost is fairly required. So, if you could, what are your plans for future updates? Reseren not finding anything in the maintenance stuff.
Now, a big question, is Reseren going to fight Yakuza to hope for a vanilla space jump? We could see that. We know it'll be faster for him if he doesn't, unless... Well, no, because even if it's high jump there, won't be able to get out with that information.
Now, the funny thing is, finding base jump... Well, we're going to get a Crumble City checklist, which is just great.
One big difference in our runners here also, Frydi does not have level 4 security locks here, so needs to have a pretty substantial lead over Reseren.
Reseren finding Wave Beam.
And just trash, someone is littering up in Crumble City. How dare you leave all your trash around like that? And we are going to get a Yakuza fight. I don't remember the last time Reseren saved.
I don't either.
But we know this will be a reset. Then again, the only thing that Reseren has found of value in a while has been that Wave Beam, and that's debatable if it's value. Frydi taking these Screw Attack checks. Finding some missiles at the top of 1. And is this going to be the circuit 1 to 3 to 5?
I think that's the routing that not going into 3, but I'm guessing because...
Frydi taking a save. Are we going to see Ridley? Frydi has everything needed to do it.
Oh no! Frydi! Nothing's down there for you. Are you thinking that? Are you thinking that the Riddler has your gravity suit?
That's what Frydi is thinking. I'm gonna laugh if we find high jump down there, though.
So Frydi does have wave beam, having been to reactor silo.
Just missiles on the off a dive. And we have seen Frydi recently practicing actually for the new version of the randomizer, being able to put plasma on Ridley. Saw him giving quite some practice against Ridley earlier in the week. Reseren not finding a jump upgrade on Yakuza, so resetting out.
Frydi making this a very interesting race indeed, giving us that jump upgrade was on a for randomizer an obscure boss. You don't make the Notori check all that often.
And Reseren is giving Frydi some more time to have a chance to catch up here, though. Going to go through Sector 6. Although one interesting thing, we did have chat asking for high jump in space earlier. Reseren does have level 4 locks open and would be able to go give us Xbox. Maybe we'll get Cat Jam World Tour today.
You know, if you're going to go to Ridley, oh wait, yeah, Frydi. I was going to say if you're going to go to Ridley, go through Xbox, but
Frydi doesn't have red locks.
Red locks.
So also knows that gravity cannot be in any of those checks. So chat, what do we think? Are we going to find high jump in space, or are we going to find high jump on Ridley?
Reseren making very, very quick work of Megacore.
Yeah, when you have Screw Attack, even though it doesn't damage the Megacore, it lets you just get completely inside its hitbox to fire your shots. I really am wondering where that high jump ended up at, though. Nemono, we did see the Screw Attack only checks in Sector 6 from Frydi already.
Yeah, it was just a missile tank at the Killer Highway.
Frydi going to be very happy to have Plasma Beam against Ridley after having some fun times earlier in the week without it. And let's go ahead and switch audio to not kill our viewers' ears.
We're hearing those lovely, lovely yells from...
I think Ridley is just saying what our runners are thinking.
Yeah, if you're fighting Ridley for your gravity suit, we might be having a good time, but you're not having a good time. Reseren heading into Sector 2, getting close to that space jump on Notori.
Yeah, and Reseren is in boss rush mode.
Reseren's already fought Zazabi, so the only reason why he'd be here is to check above Notori, and he's got charge, he's got plasma. He'll just rip through Notori with those beam upgrades.
And just missiles on Ridley. At this point, you have to say it's Reseren's race to lose. I could definitely see Frydi going through the 1 to 3 to 5 corridor here and deciding to check the Sector 5 data room. However, Frydi not sure what Frydi's doing, so how am I going to know?
Yeah, Frydi's looking just for a single item.
I didn't see what Reseren just reset out of.
Reseren just reset out of Crumble City. I'm guessing he's just leaving Sector 2. Reseren, no! I guess he's
going to go on a Screw Attack adventure here. Really, all I want is just a close race here.
Well, this is both runners' race to lose at this point. Frydi checking
Reseren giving us a game, let's play of Met Reset Fusion.
Oops, all resets.
Okay, this has to be the Notori chat. This is going to be the Notori chat.
We're going into overgrown Sector 2. I can't see why Reseren would skip on Notori at this point. Frydi having a little bit of trouble with the Shine Spark above Hardcore. Oh.
Yeah, having space jump and no high jump actually does make that a bit tricky to line up those jumps, since normally you set that up with a wall jump. Frydi giving a quick map check just to make sure that he has not missed anything.
Reseren checking the Talus. Just finding some trash. But, okay, here we go. This is the final countdown. This is the road to the end of this race. Reseren heading to Notori.
But Frydi heading into Sector 3. If he's going to Sector 5 in the data room, this could be a race. I'd still say Reseren's ahead from needing to actually make the checks, or from Frydi needing to open up the level 4. But it's at least a race at that point. One important part is also... Actually, I don't remember if Reseren... I don't think Reseren ever went back to pick up super missiles. So we'll have a slower battle against Core X's.
I think, oh no, Frydi heading into lower 3, realizing, oh, there are those power bomb checks I can do. There's the Nova stairs that he left behind.
And FPiz, I probably agree with you, but, you know, we have to have some drama over here.
Tori, why are you freezing our runners' streams? At least show us the upgrade.
Just does not want us to see that space jump today. Meanwhile, Frydi giving us that Nova Stairs check that you have wanted for so long, Army. Just 2 missiles on the Nova Stairs.
And Frydi is going to head to Wide Core. That's
might just be giving us the lava maze, but at 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 19 seconds, Reseren in go mode. Frydi is going to go to Gary, so barring like a catastrophic system failure, this is going to be GG for Reseren right here.
And now we can. We're sure. I'm positive that we can make it to our next race to commentate now.
What's that?
Our next race to commentate is in 23 minutes. So you'll be over Ivan versus Hannibal Graham. I'll be over C. Scotty versus.
That
Reed.
is true.
Our jump upgrade was not nice to Reseren. It could have taken so much longer to find that. We still haven't found high jump. Frydi is fighting Wide Core for his gravity.
You know, just for the troll factor, I want high jump on Wide Core. Make it happen, Seed.
No. Frydi getting out of
And for anyone interested, the next match between these two runners will be tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. We will get a game 2 between these runners.
And we'll also be commentating over that.
We will, in fact, be commentating over that. And we are both... You're all over the schedule tomorrow. I forgot that I am only commentating one race tomorrow that I'm aware of.
Yeah, SpeedGaming has pretty much become the adopted home of Army of One. I am commentating on SpeedGaming streams more than I'm streaming myself.
I mean, very true of myself. I even got called out yesterday about how my next opponent wanted to watch some of my rando streams and didn't have any to watch. And Reseren getting the saxophone on screen. And no question about getting the quick kill. Getting trolled with 1 shot. And SAX not figuring out how to use a screw attack.
Well, there's at least one question about the quick kill.
And I was so busy watching the quick kill, I didn't see what's up in the crow's nest. Frydi, you're so close to go mode. It's not gonna matter, but you're so close. Frydi about to be disappointed. Or maybe relieved and then disappointed in about 2 minutes. Just missiles in the crow's nest. Thank you, Link Force. And Frydi at 1 hour, 8 minutes, and 7 seconds in go mode. Just needs to, open level 4 security, get up to the operations deck, fight the SAX and Ice Core, and then go kill the Omega Metroid. In the time between Reseren doing that, and with Ice Core already being dead, that is less possible than it was when I started that sentence.
Reseren changing the orbit of the space station. We're gonna slam it right into the surface of SR-388 and make sure those fish, those darn fish from Secret Message, will sleep with the fishes. That statement doesn't make any sense anymore.
But the real question is, are we going to see Reseren show off that you can blow up planet SR-388 just using a power bomb?
Speaking of power bombs, Frydi not showing off the tech to open up the red door while unlocking the red door. Reseren tripping over his own feet, not getting the shine spark, and just not showing any swag.
The worst part is, Frydi getting that gravity suit that was available for so long has to be thinking, my opponent could dot done any second, and he would be right now. Although Reseren is down to 1 health, so, this could be interesting here.
At that point, I would be thinking, why hasn't he not done yet? Where has he been? Of course, the answer is looking for a space jump.
Now, the real question is, how many times can I make that 1 HP joke before I get kicked off of commentary? And we have the Omega kill happening on screen here. Reseren getting the stun lock, and that is GG. The Omega stood no chance. And as I say that,
and as the Omega dies, so does Frydi's stream. Reseren done
get your GGs in chat. Reseren done with an official racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 26 seconds. And let's see if we can get our runner in for a quick interview.
And Frydi is finishing out his seed. Being in go mode, it doesn't take that long. And if you know where to go, then...
And speaking of knowing where to go, we have Reseren joining us on air. GG, Reseren.
GG.
Did you have any idea where to go?
At the end? No, it was all just guessing.
Yeah, we actually have a fun seed here because you and your opponent had different go mode items.
Really?
Yeah, Frydi's go mode was gravity. He missed the gravity check in Sector 5 because he had checked the powerbomb lock check in Sector 4 earlier and just failed as soon as getting power bombs to go pick up super missiles in Sector 4.
Yeah, I almost skipped it, but then I was like, I guess I'll go back and check it, but, obviously you have to run all the way around, so...
Yeah, just very unpleasant, especially with Wave Beam not being until the reactor.
Yeah.
But definitely giving our audience a treat here, getting a jump upgrade go mode. Not something we see all the time.
So did Frydi, did he check Notori earlier then, I'm guessing?
He did check Notori a bit earlier. Went back through Sector 2, I believe, after checking Reactor.
Yes.
Found Space Jump, which the stream froze for Notori for both of you. And then was just on a hunt for gravity and started checking all the wrong places. We actually saw Frydi go down to Ridley.
That's like the last place I expected gravity, honestly.
And it looks like the true winner today is the SAX triumphing over Frydi. I imagine we'll bring him in here in a minute.
Yeah, Frydi has officially DNF'd, forfeited the race. And we'll be talking with him right now. Welcome,
GG, Frydi.
Hello.
How was that gravity location for you?
So, judging by the fact that it took Reseren so long to finish, gravity must have been somewhere bad, which is why I went to all the funny places except for the spider.
It was in Sector 5 data room.
I'm mostly curious now if your go mode was space jump or gravity suit.
Space jump.
Making the hard read there, Frydi.
Mhm.
I mean, I figured that he probably had gravity at that point and then was just looking for a jumpy thing. And it's good that we didn't find high jump.
We didn't. No one found high jump in the entire seed. I'll be honest, I was calling for high jump when you went down to Ridley. I was hoping to see high jump there since I already knew it couldn't be gravity, and that would have been just peak content here.
Why did you know it wasn't gravity? Oh, yeah, because... Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Brain.
Yeah,
Couldn't
I
imagine
did
why.
see that you wanted gravity, and Reseren already had it without fighting Ridley. At least you didn't
Good
have to
for
go in
him.
with just missiles.
I provided Ridley content.
Yes, we had Ridley's sultry screams serenading our ears for just a little bit. It's all you need.
Thanks on him.
Yeah, and chat is still saying, chat made a hard read at the beginning of the seed saying maybe high jump in space, and that still could be possible here.
I mean, power bombs kind of led me everywhere because there was the major in Sector 4. And then I was just like, let's check power bomb locations. And in the end, I ended up back in Sector 5.
Yeah, we didn't even actually see that you had caught that Sector 4 check on your way through there with diffusion missiles.
I caught it.
So, yeah, saw that you went back there, and unfortunately just super missiles there in that check. Definitely nice to have in future fights, but definitely we're hoping to see a go mode item there. And chat, what questions do you have for our runners today after they just put on quite the show for you?
I need to stop my timer or people are going to complain again.
I mean, how do we know that you're not going to go back in and finish the run?
I mean, the SAX didn't want to be frozen, so I decided no.
You gave us the content that we were all looking for here, though. Chat is calling for an interview with the SAX. I don't believe I can do that. We are also getting some Frydi boats in chat showing support.
So most of my route through the thing, I was either Reseren forgot a go mode item in a super obvious spot again, or I can just skip all the kind of obvious things and go just straight for the crazy stuff because it just took so long.
And
Yeah,
it looks like... go ahead.
It was just once I got gravity and I was looking for space jump, I think I went mostly everywhere I didn't need to go. So that was fun.
I mean, I was also looking everywhere I didn't need to go for gravity in the end.
Yeah, you two were looking in all of the same places going into Sector 5, and FPiz in chat is asking, Frydi, why didn't you lower the water before going up to Ceres?
I'll tell you when you're grown up, FPiz. So I was like, Ceres is probably nothing, but never skip Ceres. And if I so I saved up there at Ceres, and I can just reset if it is nothing. But then it was dumb white beam, which I kind of wanted in the end. And then I just lowered the water on the way back. But the plan was to lower the water. The plan was from the beginning to reset at Ceres, which didn't happen. That's why the route went weird.
Very understandable, and I definitely always bet on Ceres not having anything, and this seed made me eat some of my words there. Having wide beam, one of the best things, also did give you both the ability to one-shot Ceres if you could fight it a second time.
And I got a beam downgrade before fighting Ceres, so yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one difference, is that you and Reseren were going in opposite directions at the beginning of the seed, swapping between Frydi, I believe you did 2 into 1, Res did 1 into 2. And then you both went into the sectors next to that after swapping, so...
Yeah, I felt the fusion missiles kind of might have something behind the Kago, which I wanted to get out of the way as soon as possible. Even though Sector 2 wouldn't have gotten me a lot. If bombs would have been there, it would have been great. Sector 3 was kind of the play. Maybe the thing is speed booster, because it kind of often is speed booster or bombs, which is one of the items I need. Sector 4 I always had on... I was basically like, I checked the one item in Sector 3. If it's nothing, I checked the one item in Sector 4, because there wasn't really that much left.
Yeah, definitely was a coin flip there, and seeing 50-50 shot that one of these has to be the progression item, and turns out they both were. Anyway, as we are gearing up for a busy afternoon of races, do you have any final comments, either of our runners?
Please no high jump again next seed. Thank you very much.
I will be looking forward to if we get that back. And speaking of next run, that will be tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, or 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So feel free to tune in, and if you're in a different time zone, sorry, I am not naming every time zone in the world here. That will be game 2 between these runners. The winner of the series will go on to play against the winner of a to-be scheduled series between Army of One and Hercules Bench Press.
We'll get there eventually.
But we have plenty more Fusion to be played between now and then. On SpeedGaming 4, in 10 minutes, we will have the first 2 games between Ivan and Hannibal Graham, also in the winner's bracket. I will be commentating that along with Xander. Army of One will be staying on this same channel here for C. Scotty W versus Reed Theory. And then at 3:30 p.m., we have games 1 and 2 in the lower bracket series between Destructor and Mini Johns. So plenty of Metroid Fusion to look forward to today, and even more tomorrow. Also, if anyone here likes what you see, haven't given the randomizer a try, we do have a link to our Metroid Fusion community Discord going in the chat. So feel free to come on over. We are always happy to see new runners coming in, a nice open and welcoming community. We have some guides on how to get set up with the randomizer. Have plenty of folks to ask questions to, or even do some casual races. And go ahead and give our runners Frydi and Reseren a follow, as well as our great trackers today, Link Force Zero and the Great Pikmin ZX789.
And follow the commentators too.
I would like to follow. That'd be nice.
Not sure who would ever want to follow me, but, if you want to hear more of my antics, you can definitely come watch some bad any percent runs. With that, though, we will go ahead and give the channel back to SpeedGaming, although if you want to stick around and watch C. Scotty W versus Reed Theory and hear more of Army of One joined by Chocola Gaming, that will be great. Not very far from here, but thank you for tuning in, chat, and see you next mission.